freedom isn't the result of wealth. It's the foundation. Welcome to Wealth Independence, where freedom leads and real wealth follows through battle-tested strategies, hard-won lessons, and real-world experience. You'll discover how to accelerate your path to true financial independence. And now your hosts, Dustin Bailey and Adam Penn.
All right, welcome back to the Wealth Independence Podcast, where freedom leads and real wealth follows. I'm Dustin Bailey, and I'm here with Adam Penn. Adam, where in the world are you today? You are not in your normal location.
I just changed my backdrop. It's the same house.
Oh, okay,
Yeah.
okay. It's a very nice, it's a very custom virtual background.
It'll revert back next time. No, I'm up in Boise, Idaho, at a friend's house. Came up here to visit a business partner and an investor of mine who flies A-10s for the Air National Guard, and was able to go hang out in the simulator.
It's pretty cool.
It was enjoyable.
I do. So did you get to like shoot the gun or like drop bombs on things?
Yes, but in the simulator.
Well, does it like actually show an explosion?
Yeah. Well, we didn't drop bombs with the gun, and you see it like on the ground. The thing that was really cool with the simulator, and this isn't going to be cool for anyone that doesn't fly planes, but when you pull the trigger, it's like a Glock where there's a trigger and then like a half pull and then a full pull. And on the half pull, it locks all the flight controls out. So your stick no longer moves the plane. That way, when you're on target and you continuously pull and you actually get a burst of rounds, it's not moving off target.
Interesting. So you have to make sure you're definitely on target before.
Yeah, like you can force it a little bit, like you can override it, but like if you just pull back a little bit, like it's locked. It's not changing its coordination at all.
Huh. That's pretty fascinating. Does it have a heads-up display? Like, what's the targeting like? Okay.
Has a heads-up display on the screen, and then the new helmets have like a vision here, and they're like you can look down to the plane and see what you're targeted on.
No way.
It's pretty cool.
Okay, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Jeez. All right. Well, we could probably continue talking about this through this whole episode. That's probably not the point. Not what people are here for, but that's fascinating. I actually do think that's a really good lead-in to this episode because it's not today right now when you and I are recording this, but when this episode's going to air, it will be the day after Thanksgiving here in the U.S. I don't think we have any international listeners. So Thanksgiving here in the U.S. So happy Thanksgiving to everyone that's listening. We definitely appreciate you spending time with us on this holiday weekend. That's very, very kind. You must be very bored, but we appreciate it. But I did want to talk about, I mean, it's a great time to talk about, what are you thankful for? And, to talk about what we're grateful for. And I think maybe the flip side to that is what we're grateful for and kind of what it cost us to learn that and become grateful. But I do think one of the things on this that I wanted to like touch on was the things that you and I have both done to sort of do what we're doing and things like that. And sort of our view on life does lead to really cool situations, right? Like getting to go to Boise and flying an A-10 simulator. So I think it's a decent lead into this topic, but I'm looking at my notes here as I am.
It's not only just being able to like go there, but like I texted a buddy and like they had a spare car and I stayed at their house and we went out to dinner. We went to their country club today and had lunch, like just cool, fun stuff that like I never would have met any of the people that I came up here to visit had I just stayed in Chico and worked a W-2 job. But like going to the conferences and like, paying the cost to go be at those things builds the network. And like, you end up with kind of incredible opportunities. Absolutely.
Well, so let me start by then asking you that question and talk about like what it's kind of taken to get to this point, and not to like say that you and I are like at some level that, we desire to be at, but we both do have a level of freedom that I think looking back several years ago would have been kind of crazy to think about and the opportunities that we have. So like what, from your point of view, what are some of the biggest mistakes that you've made along the way to reach this point where you're now grateful to like have this experience and do these things?
I think I don't know if it's a mistake, but it was definitely a learning lesson. I think we tried to invest out of state too quickly, out of our backyard. We were on a really good trajectory where we were investing in things in my hometown. We were doing good deals. And you start going to these conferences, you start meeting other people, you meet really successful investors who have stuff all out of state, especially coming out of California. They want to be out of California. There's better cap rates, there's better cash flow. better landlord-tenant laws. But the thing that maybe you don't think about is they have a 100-unit building or a 200 or 300-unit building. And so they have teams that sit underneath them and lots of money moving through, right? I mean, you talk about, you buy a single-family home back east when you live in California and you fly out there to go visit it, you're going to burn most of the cash flow for the year doing that. Versus you have a 400 or 100-unit building and you fly back east to go visit it and check on the property managers. Just a line item. It's not that big of a deal. One less water heater go out probably covers it. And so that's just one of those things that I think is missed or you don't think about. So I don't know, maybe restate your question, but restate your question. What are the things I learned?
Yeah, like if you kind of look back, you said you made the comment earlier about if you were just sitting in Chico working a W-2 job or something like that. And I know that that's not really ever been your full trajectory, but like thinking about mistakes that you've made to kind of get where you are, and if looking back, I think that answer is a great one. Like the fact that trying to go out of state too fast, or maybe out of state with the wrong thing. I think to your point about larger properties with the travel expense and other things just being a line item, it's not that big of a deal. But I know, specifically some of the properties in Memphis, right? Like it's just, they're smaller, and it is the economics of that are just different. And it takes a different, to your point, you've got to have the team, but you got to have to have that really built out in order for that to make sense. And I can certainly, like, I think it's a great answer to the question, but the question was just, mistakes, I guess mistakes that you're now grateful for. Like maybe you're thankful that you've made those mistakes so that you've.
To that same extent, right? Like, I mean, we made those mistakes, or, and that's maybe mistakes, learning experiences, right? Things that we now can manage differently. We know the size of the deal we want, but like, we're thankful because we know what size of deal we want to buy. If we want to go buy a 100-unit building, I know where those line items are going to be, right? I understand those are real costs. And I think it helps. I think I'm grateful for it because I think it lets us put better deals in front of investors, where we're going to place capital, how we're going to do those things. And it leads to us having more experience, right? I think it's better to make those mistakes on a fourplex than it is a 100-unit building. Okay.
Kind of along the same lines. This is turning into an interview show. I'm interviewing you. You can ask me these questions.
That's okay, because we had an interview set up for this, and the guy, we had some technical problems and didn't happen. So now let's just do an interview with me.
That's exactly right. I don't. Your background is not the same as his, but that's okay. You don't go argue things in front of the U.S. tax court, which is probably a good thing for everyone involved. Now that I think about it, I really just don't think that would go well for anyone. I don't know. We've done an episode before where we've talked about the power of like masterminds and, getting around other people, but thinking about, I don't know, mentors, books, experiences that have maybe changed your investment trajectory. I know that's kind of broad, but just, when you hear that question, what stands out?
I think mentors are a big one, right? Being able to have people to look at and see how they're doing things, and maybe more than mentors or peers, even peers that are maybe a little farther ahead than you, because you can really bounce ideas off of them, or like they're going through something, right? The buddy I'm visiting up here in Boise, we have similar entity structures. So before this call, we talked a fair amount about that. We kind of compared our two entity designs and, well, am I doing it right? Are you doing it right? Things like that. Why'd you do this? Why'd you do that? And that's the ability to go learn those things versus, with other people, I think is super great. The thing that I've noticed recently, referrals is the easiest way to do business, right? And we've had some deals that have been poor. We've talked about them before. We've had some deals that have been killer. I mean, our most recent apartment deal, I think, was pretty killer. And so when you start doing those deals that have been better, we get more referrals, and those more referrals lead to like easier capital raising, right? I mean, like there's someone who just invested in our most recent oil deal who I met 2 years ago at a conference, and like we've chatted a little bit. We had great initial conversation, and then he just listened to our podcast and our maybe that predates the podcast, but newsletters, my newsletter that then turned into yours, like all these things. And you end up, getting an investor so deals fund faster. So, it's kind of it's a loop, right? And they all kind of join together. And the more things you get, the faster your momentum is.
I completely agree with that. The comment about referrals, I think that's something that's tough. That you obviously don't have any when you're starting out, right? Like you have no referrals, but like I think you and I have both started to see more of that, right? Just as, and some of that's just a function of time, and a function of time and doing good business too, right? If we do crappy business, we're not going to get referrals. But
we've seen that with some operators we've worked with who we've had problems with, right? Now they have problems raising capital because they did bad business or the deal went bad. Things happened and they have a really hard time raising money.
Yeah.
And I think, part of the thing that I think maybe I'm trying to get to there is like, even though we've done deals that went bad, I mean, a bad deal doesn't mean negligence or that the sponsor doesn't care or the deal was bad to start. Something happened and Ken McElroy says, delivering bad news builds trust. And so I think, I don't know that there was a thought in it when we first started. The first deal we ever did was an oil and gas deal, and they pay monthly. So we get a check in the bank account every month and we send it off to investors. And with that came, I'll do an update every month. Dustin hates this a little bit because I now have to do updates on like 8 different deals every month on the first day.
And growing.
Yeah.
Every new deal is a new monthly update. And
it's not just, one deal, but it keeps people updated, right? Well, for whatever reason, we started doing monthly. Like there are people that even on the, our Memphis deal that's slow and not cash flow producing, people don't ask questions, right? Because we provide so much information that it helps build that out. So I don't know where my thought train went with that, but it's that's part of the the referral system is having those things where you just keep communicating.
Yeah, for sure. No, I think that's a good point, and just the having the open lines of communication, even if the news, I mean, it's not like the new you mentioned Memphis, it's not like the news is bad, but it's not going exactly the way that we would hope. But at the same time, because there's constant communication and like, hey, here's an update, or even when the update is, hey, there's not much to update, here's kind of what has happened. Just the fact that like someone knows in the back of their mind where the status is, like what the most recent thing, I think that definitely builds a lot of trust, and it, for us kind of starts building that flywheel and impacts things into the future. I definitely think there's, I don't know, that the power of referrals, it's huge for sure. Okay. The last thing I want to ask about here is if we think about like some of these lessons and hard work and things like that, like you get freedom moments, right? And I think you're kind of on one right now with this trip. You had one yesterday. I don't know any other. I guess the question in this would be, what others have you had? I think you typically. I find that you're pretty good about intentionally taking opportunities and taking trips and going and doing things and stuff like that. But like, I don't know. Talk a little bit about that. Like, why is that something that's important to you? It seems like it is from the outside, but like, what's your approach to that, and how that ties in all of this?
Yeah, I think we've talked about this a little bit. One thing that I love is that my girlfriend doesn't work. She's an artist, so she does that. But for the most part, I'm the one that brings income to the house, and that also means we have immense amounts of freedom, right? So when I want to go travel or we want to go on a trip or whatever, there's not a time off request. And so that's important to me. It's the ability to be able to go take the time where you want to take it, right? Like I had a day full of meetings yesterday, and I just canceled all of them, right? Because I was the one that organized them.
Yeah.
And it allowed me to go do the stuff I wanted to do that day. Maybe it pushed the company behind a little bit or whatever happened, right? The team keeps doing what they're doing. Hopefully at some point there'll be a time when the meetings just happen and I'm not there. We used to be there, but our team has downsized a little bit. And so I am intentional about going and taking those, I was talking, me and Dustin both like fancy credit cards, loosely fancy credit cards. Neither of us had Black Centurion cards, but
not yet.
Not yet. The Platinum card and the Amex Reserve card are both like $900 a year now. So that plus a gold card plus a business platinum, you're like almost $4,000 a year, $3,000 a year of credit card fees. But each one of those normally has like some type of hotel credit or a reservation credit or like a restaurant credit. And I want to make sure I use all of them, right? Not so much because it's coupon like that I need to use for the money, but it makes me go do the thing, right? Like we have to go to San Francisco in a few weeks and go have dinner. Sounds fun. We'll go see Kelsey's family. We'll go have a good time. We'll have dinner and get a little bit of a credit for it.
No, that's a good point. That it's funny you mentioned that because like I kind of had a little bit of that myself this year before the Real Estate Guys Investor Summit. Mercy and I went and spent a couple of days in Miami, and the hotel that I chose was because it was part of the Amex program, and we got the extra bonus points and that whatever credit, and it was on a discount, and got the free breakfast and stuff like that. And it was a neat experience. It was a nice 5-star resort in Miami Beach, and probably not something that like just normally on my own I'm going to go book.
Embassy Suites has free breakfast too, right?
I do know that. I've eaten a lot of free breakfast. I've had a lot of omelets at an Embassy Suites in my life. That's for sure. But no, I mean, it's, I think you got to be intentional to sort of take those things. And it's something that, tying back into the sort of theme of Thanksgiving and gratitude, I'm definitely thankful for, the freedom that I feel like I've tried to be intentional to create in my life to be able to do that. And honestly, that ties back to like some of the point of the show. I was thinking when you were given that answer that we always ask our guests, like, what are you, we're the Wealth Independence podcast. What are the, independence and freedom? What does that mean to you? And I feel like you and I have both talked about that. You've given a different answer to that, but I feel like the answer you just gave would be really like, it's another angle on that. And I think it's important. I think it's what we're all, whether for those that are listening, if you're, a business owner, if you got
both of them.
For all two of our listeners, for the business owner that listens and our W-2 employee. But no, like you can still like create this sort of thing, right? And be able to have these opportunities here to where you can look back and be thankful for the thing that you've built and the freedom that you have. And obviously, one of the things we've learned from asking that question to our guests is that it does look, there's obviously common themes, but it looks different to everybody. And that's I think it's important for everyone to figure that out and then build the path, build that life. And then you can kind of sit back in these moments like we are able to here on Thanksgiving and say, wow, this is pretty neat and very thankful for all of this. You seem like you've got a thought going through your mind. I see you.
I was just curious if you were going to do a turducken for.
No.
You don't stuff the turkey and the duck and the chicken.
Yes.
That's what was going through my head. And then I was thinking of the How I Met Your Mother episode with the turkey key, which is like a turkey with a smaller turkey with a chicken and a smaller chicken.
Oh my gosh. Like it's like the Russian wedding dolls. It just like keeps getting smaller. Yeah. When you said turducken, I thought about that. It was Frank Caliendo doing, sorry, these are sports references, so you won't get any of them.
I won't get it.
Frank Caliendo doing John Madden. And he talks about the turducken. Anyway. Well, I don't know. I don't know that I've got more for this. I'm definitely very thankful. I'm thankful that, we're almost coming up here. I don't know what exact episode number this is going to be, but we sort of launched this podcast and it's been an interesting journey. I'm thankful for
46.
Yeah. I've probably got
it'll be 46.
It's somewhere in the 40s. 47 is where this one's going to be. So, yeah. So I'm thankful for this. I'm thankful for, the opportunity that, we kind of get to do what we get to do. It's fun. I enjoy, it's always fun for the most part, working with investors and, being able to solve the problems that we solve. And that's something I'm very thankful to do that, especially we got, as we're recording this, we've got an active oil deal and, excited about that and the sort of the problems that's solving for our investors. And, it's neat to sort of play that role in people's lives. And, I don't know, I could keep kind of going here, but I think gratitude is important. It's always, if I guess my final piece of advice to anyone listening is if you haven't taken time here over Thanksgiving to like actually stop and think about what you're grateful for, definitely do that. I think it can definitely put things into perspective. And sometimes if you don't do that, you sort of lose out and you kind of get the gap in the gain, right? You start focusing way too much on the gap instead of the gain. It's very important to turn around and look at that gain.
Which is a good book recommendation if you haven't read it.
It is a very good book.
Benjamin Hardy, Gap and Gain.
Is it back on?
It is. It's even right here. This isn't even my office and it's here. Found it.
The Gap and the Gain. Great book. Benjamin Hardy and Dan Sullivan. Very, very good. That is an excellent Thanksgiving book recommendation. I'm glad that worked out. In the mystery office you're in there of a future guest on this podcast.
Yeah. See if you can, if you're listening, send us an email when you figure out whose office we're in right now.
Yeah, that's exactly right. We'll probably be seeing this background again, but somebody else in the camera. I don't know, Adam, any other parting Thanksgiving thoughts? We'll keep this one short and let everyone get back to digesting their turkey.
I think, and maybe it's not a Thanksgiving thought, but I think back on the kind of where we started this and the ability to network and meet other people, right? Like if you're a W-2 person, you don't want to go to a conference, you don't want to do all these things, like reach out to us. I mean, one of the things that we're doing in Q1 is for any active investor, we're hosting a mastermind meetup in Napa. A lot of people in the Bay Area, right? It's an easy trip for you. We got a huge house booked. We're going to do cocktails. We're going to go wine tasting. We're going to do a mastermind session. Like, it'll be really fun, but we do that for our investors. So, reach out, have a conversation with us and start to grow your network.
And you are putting together the jet for the East Coast investor,
jet,
right?
for you will, I'll make sure I get you a jet. It's going to be a toy jet, but.
Oh, okay. Well, all right. One can dream, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
But no, it's a great point. And we can get on out of here with that. We appreciate everybody listening. As we always say, if you've enjoyed this or enjoy the podcast in general, give us a like, a thumbs up, a 5-star rating on Apple Podcasts. Give us a review there. Do the stuff on YouTube and Spotify and all the other stuff. You know the drill. But we definitely appreciate you listening. Have a happy Thanksgiving, the rest of your Thanksgiving weekend. We appreciate you spending a small part of it here with us, and we'll catch you on the next episode. Just remember, where freedom leads, real wealth follows. Thanks, y'all.
Thanks for joining us on Wealth Independence. This show is for informational purposes only and is not financial, investment, legal, or tax advice and does not constitute an offer to buy or sell securities. All investments carry risk, and investors should always conduct thorough due diligence and consult with qualified professionals before investing. Until next time, remember, freedom leads and real wealth follows.